Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Meena ji, Dhyana shlokas, please.
Yes, sir, please. पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवतां नारायण स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दाय तपत्रनेत्र तेन येन त्वया भारतैलपूर्ण प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो भोक्ता गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्
वसुदेवसुतं
एवं कृष्णचाणूरमर्दनं
देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनेन मैलाकुला
अश्वत्थामा विकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातामहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गते मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुषुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः।
So, Parthuda, do you want to start with your doubts or should we move to the shlokas first? I'm okay either way.
Okay, I will just briefly tell you my doubt. It started from same chapter 10:14, where I said that what is this? Arjuna understood whatever Krishna told him. No, don't take it from me as a very high spiritual kind of understanding. I'm going by my level of understanding, which is much lower in the spiritual realm. I'm just telling how I look at it and why my discomfort came. My discomfort came from the fact, which I expressed that day, that how can a disciple challenge a man like Krishna, a person like Krishna, after listening to him for 10 chapters, coming to the 9 chapters, coming to the 10th chapter, and he's asking me, okay, you tell me now about your glories. Achha, that is one discomfort I had. The second discomfort I had what is Krishna? Just because he is asking, he has to go on explaining his glories to him. Who is Arjuna? He could have told Arjuna, you get lost. If you don't accept me, you don't accept me. Whatever I have told you. You just imagine you're challenging Gurudev. That Gurudev, oh, what all you are telling me, fine. But why do I accept whatever you are telling? What are your certificates? You ask him. So this is asking Krishna. Now, here, to my surprise, Arjuna asked, Krishna started explaining how it is happening. So that actually gave me the shock. You said that no, actually Arjuna did not understand. His understanding was incomplete. So that was my first disagreement mentally. So I went to all the Bhagavad Geetas I have with me, right from Paramahansa Yogananda, Gurudev, then ISKCON, then Swami Chidbhavananda, everything I went through. I got two things which are very close to my understanding. One, Gurudev nowhere is telling that Krishna has understood. He did not directly say Krishna has not understood, but he did not say Krishna has understood. He went on explaining. Number one. Number two, Srila Prabhupada is clearly telling, he is writing that Krishna, Arjuna has understood. So that is one. Then I thought, there is some justification, some support to what I am thinking. Then I started digging deep into it. That why Krishna? My Krishna is not so simple a man that a man like fellow like Arjuna, he is not understanding anything. Then after telling him so much, he is telling, who are you? Tell me your glories. Then only I will accept. Then something struck me. I looked at the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna. It is not the relationship of a normal guru and disciple. Actually, they are related. Arjuna married Krishna's sister Subhadra, number one. So Krishna is Arjuna's brother-in-law, one. Number two, Arjuna's mother Kunti is Krishna's father's sister, Vasudeva's sister. So that way they are cousins. So I thought these two guys, they have known each other. They have, in a way, at a stage, they have grown each other. Arjuna never knew Krishna's opulences. He was just an ordinary friend, ordinary relative. And when Krishna told him all this, and if it was not like that, Arjuna would not have posed all those stupid questions to Krishna, saying that, no, I will not fight, I'm keeping my bow and arrow. And he went on doing this. So we also concluded in chapter 1 that what kind of a stupid fellow is Arjuna. Even Gurudev is also telling, So we developed some kind of a, pity for Arjuna. What is this man? But Arjuna did this because, Hare Krishna, you are the same Krishna. I will tell you my confusions. I am not able to accept this kind of battle. I cannot take the lives of these people who are my relatives, my gurus. Then Krishna, he is telling finally in chapter 10, tell me about your opulences. Actually, Arjuna is telling Krishna that, my God, boss, who you are? You told me all this. I have understood. My goodness. But who are you? The Krishna I knew, you are not the same one. Then Krishna started telling him that, Arjuna, I am this, I am this, I am this, I am this. And actually, he starts chapter 11 saying, all that I have told you is out of compassion. The first verse of chapter 11, there I got my confirmation that yes, it is out of compassion, out of devotion, out of that deep friendship that Krishna opened up to Arjuna, and Arjuna also could get the courage to ask. According to me, the disciple-guru relationship should be like this. This is one. I will also complete the second question. Second question I asked you that I love Krishna. I don't want to know who is Krishna. I go by the Krishna's principles. Whatever he has told me, I will follow in my life. Is it not good enough? You said no. You will lead a good life, but spiritually, if you want to progress, you have to go through that method. Okay? On that, Priya Vaidyanathan sent a posting in Somananda group. See, I may not respond, but I read everything. So I like this piece very much. And that is straight away contradicting what you told me. So I hope you don't mind my telling directly this. Gurudev is telling, spiritually, very short, I will read it. Spirituality is not in ashrams or temples or the Himalayas, that you have also told in the past. It is in and through your day-to-day life, number one. To be truly spiritual, do your duties. Be kind, loving, and compassionate towards all creatures. Very simple. Help all those who seek your help. You would be living a life of the highest spirituality. Gurudev himself is telling. Now, these are my two confusions. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You have to clarify the doubts.
Okay. Let me start with the first one. The first challenge is that where is Arjuna when he asks that question? The way I read it, chapter 10 is looking and finding the clay in every pot. Looking and finding the clay in every pot. Now, unless that, now, in reality, that is a very limited view of Brahman. It is a very limited view of Brahman. Think about it. Right? I am firstly looking at a pot and then I am saying, oh, inside that pot there is clay. It's a very limited view because it is limited by your experience of the pots. But Krishna is a very good teacher. He attunes to the learning capacity of the student. So, if you look at the entire progression of the dialogue from chapter 1 to chapter 10, you will see that there is a continual growth in the depth of the discourse. Unless we have been able to sit down in one place, chapter 6, chapter 7 cannot happen. An understanding of the cosmos cannot happen unless I have learned how to understand that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. But my understanding is still limited. I have understood that I am not the mind, I am not the body. Oh, but Parthoda is that particular body, mind, and intellect. I am still limited. So the whole process goes through chapter 7, chapter 8, chapter 9, chapter 10. And I say, oh, Parthoda is also the same spirit as what I have. The clay in every pot. Right? To that limitation is chapter 10. It is only when we understand that the clay exists in every pot that chapter 11 can even happen. Chapter 11 is looking for the pots in the clay. It is an inversion. It is an inversion of perspective. That inversion of perspective can only happen when I have been able to first look at things in the correct perspective. Your question had multiple layers. The relationship of a guru and a shishya has to have questioning, has to have challenging. If there is no challenge between the guru and the shishya, then you have what is called blind devotion. That is not acceptable by a true teacher. A true teacher wants to be tested by his disciple. A true disciple will always test his teacher. Let us look at wonderful examples. The best student-teacher relationship that we see in the recent past is Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramahansa. What did he do? Thakur had gone out to the bathroom. He took a coin and he put it under the bed. Because Thakur used to say he can't tolerate the touch of money. Not only money, he could not tolerate the touch of any metal. So, when Thakur came and sat down, and he had no idea that there was that coin put over there, he sat down on the bed and he said, my body is burning, my body is burning, my body is burning. Even after having attained the first level of samadhi, through the grace of the Guru, when Thakur was suffering from intense cancer, unable to speak, Swami Vivekananda mentally thought, if at this point of time you can declare your own divinity, then only I will accept you. And Thakur read his thoughts and declared, Jai Ram, Shai Krishna, Shai Ram Krishna. He who was Ram, was Krishna, is the same as Ramakrishna. Right? That testing is necessary. That questioning is necessary. But the questioning is not coming from the, what we call, Adhamadhikari Prashna. It is coming from the highest level of questioning. After that, what happens to Swamiji? That is where devotion happens. And then, when you look at his speech in Chicago, where he's given that speech of my master, for me, every time I read that speech, I cry. That intensity of devotion. Another example which you have not experienced, but I have seen, is Swami Tejamanandiji and Gurudev. And the best is, every step, Puja Guruji used to challenge Gurudev. Every step. Why are you saying this explanation? Can it not be this explanation? Unless that manthan happens, how is the student going to be trained? I have given you my own example. We were sitting at the steps of Tapovan Kutir, and we had a very intense debate because we were studying Vishnu Sahasranam along with Taittiriya Upanishad. In the evenings, we were studying Vishnu Sahasranam. Now, in Vishnu Sahasranam, there are certain names which have been repeated. Certain names have been repeated. Bhagwan Sri Shankaracharya gives different meanings to the same word. Right? Now, because different meanings for the same word can exist in contextually in Sanskrit, Acharya has taken the liberty of taking that particular word and giving different meanings at different points of time. This gives rise to interesting debate. Instead of this word, could not that meaning have happened? Could not this meaning have happened? And so on and so forth. Now, three of us, we were sitting at the steps and we were having an intense debate. And I have always been the maverick in the group. So I then said, let's go and ask Gurudev. Everybody said, Arey, abhi raat ko 9:30 baje Gurudev ko. He said, light chal raha hai. He's awake. Let us go. So we knocked. He went inside. And he told us to sit down. He pointed to the chair in the room. We didn't sit on the chair. We sat on the floor. He was in a wheelchair at that time. So he had just come back from the US after his surgery and all that. So he said, yes, so it appears that you have a question. What is your question? So we gave the question. Three of us have three different opinions of this particular word. I don't now, right now, remember which word of the Vishnu Sahasranam was being debated. He gave a fourth meaning. And we were stunned. And then he said, don't accept my word meaning as the final. Now go and do manan and experience the meaning in your heart. That, what you experience, will be the true meaning. That is a true teacher. Not only does he accept the challenge, but he throws it back to the student and makes him better. That is what Krishna is doing. See how Krishna is molding Arjuna. And which is why you rightly pointed out that the 11th shloka talks about saying compassion. What compassion for what? Compassion not because you are my relative, not compassion because you and I are the same, but you can't see it. You are trapped. And who trapped you? You are trapping yourself. That is why I'm feeling compassion. If somebody else had trapped you, you are a victim. And I can go and hit that somebody else to free you. But if you have trapped yourself, what can I do? I can only be compassionate and try and open the doors for you, but you have to free yourself. Hence, Arjuna, and if you look at it contextually, if you put Mahabharata as the context, irrespective of the entire 700 shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita, and having received it directly from Krishna himself, his attachment towards Bhishma did not go. He said at the end, right? Krishna says, now I have finished whatever I have to say. You do whatever you think is right. And he says, no, I have understood. I will follow your advice. Does he follow it? No. He does not follow it. Why? Very simple. Because he did not have the time for manan. We have taken a year and a half to reach chapter 10. He finished in 1.5 hours. Right? Gurudev used to say, somebody asked this question in one of the Gita Gyani Yagyas. Somebody asked this question. Arjuna received the knowledge directly from Krishna, and yet he did not transform. Why? Gurudev smilingly said, because Chinmaya was not there in the middle. Each of the shlokas need to be applied to oneself. Yes, I'll come back to you, Raghuji. So, each of the shlokas need to be applied to us. We need to look at those applications. So that is my answer to your first question. Sorry, what was your second question again? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Spirituality.
Yes, spirituality. See, spirituality, let us first understand, what do you mean by spirituality? My question to you, what is the meaning of spirituality?
Recognizing the spirit soul. And I can also say that recognizing the presence of Brahman. Actually, I didn't know about Brahman so much in detail. That means something beyond this body, mind, intellect. There is a concept called
now
Brahman.
You read, and now you look at your definition of spirituality and read Gurudev's definition, and you will find that there is a difference, isn't there?
Yes.
Gurudev's,
there's a difference.
You have to understand, people like Gurudev will give you quotations from which have to be understood at that level at which it has been given. These are not quotations which are, see, firstly, most of the quotations sometimes are completely out of context. So not that I'm saying that the ashram is posting something wrongly or rightly or wrongly. I'm not complaining or criticizing. But if you take a quotation, the best example of that was the first ever book fair in India was in Calcutta Book Fair, 1973. That was the first book fair ever, right? And in that, the communists had a stall. And one of the books that was being distributed for free of cost was Sayings of Swami Vivekananda. Now, what have they done? They have taken one line from one particular speech, another line from another speech, put it together, and it is now a beautiful communist manifesto. You have to do not take a statement made by Gurudev or anybody unless it is something that you can do manan on and say, yes, this makes sense to me. For me, the understanding of spirituality is very similar to what you have said, and is to say that to live and be spiritual is to be one. We are fragmented. That fragmentation, once it goes in all its senses, that is being spiritual. So it is only towards moving towards spirituality. Sri Raja Ram Mohan Rai was once asked, "Are you a Brahmo?" And he said, "I am trying to be one." The founder of the Brahmo Samaj says, "I am trying to be one." Because that is the definition. A Brahmo is one who has seen Brahman in everything. That is the epitome of spirituality. So you can define spirituality at a very mundane level, the way Gurudev has, and that starts you off. It's a starting step. It is a stepping stone towards spirituality. Leading that
No,
life.
but I fully agree. I fully agree what you said. This is a very important point, that you have to know the context in which he said this. You know, one has to know. It's not that we just take it blindly and think that everything else is not material. So this is very important. I think I went a little astray with that thing of Gurudev. Maybe that is taking it too easy. But yeah, right. That's now it's very clear to me. Thank you. You can now take Raghuji's
Yeah, Raghuji.
question. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very
Raghuji.
much.
I've forgotten what my question was. But coming to the point of spirituality, I view it in this way. There is but one spirit. And let's say it's like the spirit is in the center of this universe, and all these amshas of the spirit are spinning around it. Now, when an amsha approaches, that is the distance between the amsha and the spirit reduces, that's spirituality to me. That is, it's moving towards becoming that spirit. While when the amsha moves away from that spirit, that is sin or non-spirituality. Okay. What causes this amsha to perceive itself as different from the spirit is this attachment to this body, mind, intellect, and therefore doing things for the self. When the selfishness is actually selfishness is where the self is assumed to be BMI. Okay, that's what is moving away from spirituality.
Just a small technical correction. There is no amsha. There is no
I don't know
amsha.
how to put it. You have the jivatmas and you have the paramatma.
So there is nothing called the jivatma. The jivatma is a superimposition of of Maya, right? So I'm just a technical correction. I understood what you said. Okay, so now let us start with the chapter verse number 39. Yacchapi sarvabhutanam bijam tadamaharjuna yacchapi sarvabhutanam bijam tadahamarjuna natadasti vina yatsyan maya bhutam characharam na tadasti vina yatsyan maya bhutam characharam yacchapi sarvabhutanam bijam tadamaharjuna na tadasti vina yatsyan maya bhutam characharam yat cha api yat means which, cha and api also, sarva bhutanam of all living beings, bijam I am the seed, tat that, aham I, Arjuna, na tat asti not that is, right? Tat asti Tattvamasi, if you remember. So tat asti, that is, not that is, without, vina, without. So here he has used a double negative, which Tyan is actually Syat. Syat, which is Syat Maya. So Syat Maya, Syan Maya. Syat is may exist, Maya, me, Bhutam, the living things, Charam, Acharam, moving, non-moving. So what is he saying? He says, I am the generating seed of all things that have been created out of the Panchabhutas. No thing, moving or non-moving, can exist without me. So everything exists because of me. Now we have seen this. He is basically repeating the same things. If you look at things that are born, we have various definitions of things that are born. Andaja, things that are born out of eggs. Then you have something called Shvedaja, born out of sweat, right? Bacteria, which things like that. Then Udbhija. Udbhija means that which is coming from the earth, sprouting from the earth, trees, creepers, grass, etc., etc. Right? There are other types of creatures, Bhuta, Peta, Preta, Pishacha, Gandharva, Kinnara. All of these are nothing exists without consciousness. Existence, consciousness, bliss. Without that, these cannot exist. So very clearly he says that whatever I showed you Himalayas, and I said, I am the Himalaya. I showed you the shining things in the sky, night sky, and I said, of those, the biggest shining thing, which is this Chandrama, I am Chandrama, right? Of all the purifiers, I am Vayu. Of all that takes change, makes change happen, I am time, and so on and so forth. I have shown you all this. All of this, whatever you see. So not only the best, but everything that you see, it cannot exist without me. Very powerful statement he's making. Then he says in the next shlok, Nantosti mama divyanam, Nantosti mama divyanam, Vibhutinam parantapa, Vibhutinam parantapa, Nantosti mama divyanam, Vibhutinam parantapa, Esha taduddeshatah prokto, Esha tadud Esha Esha tuddeshata prokto vibhutervistaro maya Esha tuddeshata prokto vibhutervistaro maya Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa Esha tuddeshata prokto vibhutervistaro maya Na anta asti. There is no end to my divine glories. Mama divyanam vibhutinam. There is no end to my glories. I have only picked on few things and just shown you that. Right? I have not told you that of all the oceans, I am the Pacific Ocean. I have not told you that of all the continents, I am Jambudvipa. I have not told you that of all the planets, I am Brihaspati, and so on and so forth. Right? He is basically saying, I have only just given you an indication, and that is an indication to us that whenever we see, what are we actually seeing? Are we seeing the clay, or are we stuck with the pot? Where is my mind going? So whenever I see something, today we were studying the Kilaka Stotram from Devi Mahatmyam, and in that also there are just 2 lines which says, wherever you see beauty, wherever you see auspiciousness, wherever you see glory, wherever you see power, know that to be the power of Devi. Devi, Krishna, Brahman, doesn't matter. These are all names we have created. Right? So same thing here he is saying, that I have only given you the tip of the iceberg. Now dig yourself. Dig yourself. Go, do manan. Esha means here this, too, but uddeshataha. Right? Just one portion. proktaha, declaring, speaking about, vibhuti, vibhuti here, vibhuter, of my all my vibhutis, of my glories, vistaraha, the breadth of the topic, vistaraha, maya, mine. So here he's saying basically that there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have declared is only a sample. It is only it is only some sort of examples that I have given to you. What is the purpose? The purpose is that in our day-to-day life, we are going to see hundreds and thousands of pots. And in all pots, can I penetrate beyond the rupa and nama and look for the clay? Oh, this is a round pot. This is a pot with a thin neck. This is a painted pot. This is an unpainted pot. This is a terracotta pot. That is a ceramic pot. Can I go beyond and look for the clay? Everywhere. That is the purpose of this entire shloka, of this entire chapter also. So in verse 41, he says, Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam, Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam, Srimaddurjitameva va, Srimaddurjitameva va, Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam, Srimaddurjitameva va, Taddat evavagachatvam, Taddat evavagachatvam, Mama tejansha sambhavam, Mama tejansha sambhavam, Yataddat evavagachatvam, Mama tejansha sambhavam, Yat vibhuti matsatvam, Srimat urjitameva va, Tattat evavagachatvam, Mama tejansha sambhavam. Yat, whatever, vibhuti mat, opulent, that which has glory, that which has power, that which has auspiciousness, that which has beauty, vibhuti mat, tattvam, being, Shri mat, beautiful, having Shri. Shri is a very large name, right? It has various depths of meanings. But here we can take it as anything that is auspicious, anything that is powerful, anything that has glory. He uses the word urjitam, urja. Urja means glory, right? Urja means shining. So that which has glory, urjitam, eva also, va or, tat, all that, eva only, avavagacha, no, tvam, you, mama, mine, teja, splendor, amsha, part of, sambhavam, bond. Whatever you see as beautiful, glorious, powerful, know it to come from but a part of my own splendor. Now, why is he saying this? Whichever school of thinking you want to look at, the immensity of Ishvara is impossible for the limited jiva to comprehend. Whatever be your school of thinking, Vishishta Advaita, Dvaita, Advaita, it doesn't matter. Ishvara is an existence in all the three schools. The nature of Ishvara differs in all three. That is okay. Doesn't matter. For you, me, one thing is very clear. In our limitation, today we are all Jivatmas. Right? I know myself to be a Jivatma because of my limitation. Or you are a Dvaita and you say, I will permanently be a Jivatma. It doesn't matter. Ishvara as a reality is an immensity that you cannot conceive. You are a wave in Bay of Bengal trying to gauge the depth of Pacific Ocean. The depth and the breadth of Pacific Ocean. Impossible. Hence he says here, it is only a spark, only a speck of my power that you have seen or you are seeing around you. And then he closes the chapter. It's a very beautiful close because it leads exactly into the chapter 11. He says, Athava bahune tena, Athava bahune tena, Kim jnatena tavarjuna, Kim jnatena tavarjuna, Athava bahuna tena, Kim jnatena tavarjuna, Vishta Vishtabhyamidam Kritsnam Vishtabhyaham idam Kritsnam Ekamshena Stito Jagat Ekamshena Stito Jagat Vishtabhyaham idam Kritsnam Ekamshena Stito Jagat Athava bahune tena kim jnatena tavarjuna Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekamshena stito jagat. So he says that athava or bahuna detailed etena by this kim what jnatena tava can be known by you Arjuna Vishtabhya pervading and supporting. Wish, the word wish means to pervade, which is where the word Vishnu comes. Vishnu means he who has pervaded, right? Vishwam Vishnum Vashatkara. That is the first line of Vishnu Sahasranam. Vishwam Vishnu. Vishnu, the word Vishnu means he who has pervaded. He who has pervaded this. Vishtabhyam. Vishtabhyam aham idam kritsnam entire. Eka by one. Amshena fraction. Sthita situated Jagat creation. So he says, what is the need for all this detailing? Just know that just by a fraction of my own power, all of this is existing. Which very beautifully leads to saying, oh, that is a fraction. Where is the whole? Show me the whole. Now I want to see the whole. I have got interested. Right? Now I want to see the whole. If this is a fraction and it is so beautiful, then please, please, please show me the whole. This, I am not going to rest. That is the lead, right? That is the lead into chapter. We call it segue, right? Yes, yes, please, Raghuji.
I remembered what is the point I wanted to make at that point. And you see, one way to look at this is the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata as an itihasa, as actual a description of actual events that happened, and you have been given this description, and you are now using that description, which is just a description of everything that happened. You're using that description to try to learn for yourself. That's one way of looking at this. I think a much more relevant way of looking at this is a text that was written by Vedavyasa in order to convey the immense knowledge of the Vedas to the common person. So, knowing that it has been written with the aim of conveying that information to you, then you are able to focus and look at this. And the entire chapter 10, what I see again and again is Vedavyasa simply giving you indications of where to look in order to identify and see the Parabrahman. He's giving you just so many places where to look. And then you say, but why did he say of the Adityas, he is Vishnu? And don't get too much confused by that, but look at the fact that he is looking at the most glorious person of that group and saying, when you look at the most glorious person, you will start to see he will exhibit certain traits that are unique to the Parabrahman. And that's where you should look. And therefore, you look not so much that you're getting completely engrossed by those traits, but looking that, so that trait has to be a trait of the Parabrahman. So therefore, that is an aspect. Now I understand now what Parabrahman is. So if I look here and in fact, that brought me to that verse 38, where I shared my manan with Samirji. Dando dameta asmi. Okay, where is it danda, which is the punishment, or as Gurudev has said in his thing. It is scepter. T.N. Sethumadhavan also has said it as scepter, which is just a symbol of the power. So I was looking at Gurudev's explanation. It has a beautiful explanation about that. And I started to feel that it is actually the scepter. It is actually the symbol of power. Because how did that symbol of power be given to the king? It was given by a social contract where he is designated the king, and therefore he has the right to punish as well as to reward.
So while so the point is very good. I'm happy that you have. See, the idea is you should do manana. And again, we started with that, saying that what you experience as the reality for you, or what you experience as an interpretation for you, use that. As long as it is not in completely out of context for the entire flow of events. Meena ji has raised her hand. Bataiye, Meena ji.
नहीं, बस मैं रघु जी की बात को आगे बढ़ाते हुए कह रही हूँ कि हाँ, मुझे भी ये लगता है कि जितनी भी मतलब जो मुझे ये चैप्टर समझ में आता है, बहुत ऐसा भी लगता है अपने लिए कि एक जो सेंटेंस है कि वो सब में है, हम उसमें नहीं है। तो जितनी भी हमारी आंखें देख पाती हैं या जितना संसार हमें दिखाई देता है, तो प्रत्येक चीज की सर्वश्रेष्ठ चीज में भी वो है और निम्नतर में भी वो है, यानी कि अच्छे में भी है और बुरे में भी है। अब हमारे दृष्टिकोण से जितना हम देख पाते हैं उसमें सब में वो है। और परब्रह्म अपना कार्य करने के लिए पराम्बा को उन्होंने अपनी उनकी छाया है। मैंने ऐसा रिलेट कर पा रही हूँ थोड़ा सा कि परमात्मा परब्रह्म जो है उनकी छाया, जैसा कि हमने आज पढ़ा था कि उनकी छाया यानी कि उनकी प्रतिकृति, उनका एक कार्बन कॉपी जिसको कहेंगे वो है। और वो क्योंकि परमात्मा स्वयं कोई कार्य नहीं कर सकता, इसलिए
टेक्निकल टर्म्स में हम लोग इसको प्रकाश विमर्श बोलते हैं। प्रकाश is light, but light can be only used when it is reflected, right? You are seeing me because it is reflecting. So that vimarsha. Or without vimarsha, prakasha has no function.
जी जी बिल्कुल। तो वो हम पढ़ते हैं कि सृजन करने की क्षमता तो एक स्त्री तत्व में ही है। तो पराम्बा जो है वो एक स्त्री तत्व है। परमात्मा जितने भी कार्य करते हैं उसके रूप में करते हैं, तो अच्छा बुरा जितना भी है सब वही है, ऐसा मुझे लगा।
So good. Now we are ready to start off with chapter 11, which is and you see, this is the beauty of Sri Vedavyasa also. The climax of the Bhagavad Gita is chapter 11, right? It doesn't stop there. It's a very interesting movie which does not stop at the climax. It is only after the climax is that now what? Hero and heroine have already got married. Climax is over. अब क्या होगा? तो वो पार्ट हमारे लिए ब्यूटीफुल रहता है. And that is where it starts getting into our application, understanding, using in our day-to-day life. Hari Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Geetasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. What is the Vibhuti Yogo Nama Dashamodhyaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.